Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Randy?
Since we founded Bombas, we've always said our socks, underwear, and T-shirts are super soft. Any new ideas?
Maybe sublimely soft.
Or disgustingly cozy.
Wait, what?
I got it. Bombas. Absurdly comfortable essentials for yourself
and for those facing homelessness.
Because one purchased equals one donated.
Wow, did we just write an ad?
Yes.
Bombas. Big comfort for everyone. Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New subscribers only. Renew for 12 months to lock in savings. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello guys, welcome to this week's episode of Heavy Metal Tones with me, your podcast host Tony Evans. I hope you've had a decent week, a nice night, a good month. You're enjoying life as we all should be. This is April and this is Women in Rock month on our show here. And my thoughts, obviously last week we did production of producers. It was a really interesting one to investigate and enjoyed a lot. The next one coming up, I have got an interview booked. Hopefully, we've just had it. If not, it's going to come. As you can tell, these aren't always done in sequential order, right? Particularly when life gets in the way. Anyway, this episode is a bit of a mishmash. A mishmash, I hear you say. That's not like you, Tone. No. It's sort of a really difficult one for me to research. Actually, I found part of it, the first part, no problem, pretty straightforward. It's out there and it's easy to talk to and talk about, but the second part was much harder, and I might ask for the audience's help to reach out and let me know what they think when we get there. Anyway, out there in listener land, to be my tea. I don't know if you've been coming to my Facebook page recently. I know that one or two of you have, and I've been sort of going on with I got a new record deck for my birthday. It's a gorgeous little thing. The sound is unbelievable, and I've just been sort of delving back into the old collection again. I do go and listen to it regularly anyway, but on the old record deck, I was never that happy to put some of my rare stuff on, or any of it really, because I didn't want to damage my vinyl, so I just stream it in the end. So now it's going back, which is really nice. And people reached out and said some things. I've had some requests for show topics, which I've taken on board. I'm looking forward to recording those ones. I'm researching them. This one was a bit more tricky. Now, April's month, I know this hasn't been everyone's cup of tea, this series, Women in Rock. I find it fascinating. That's why I bring it up. But this first part was two parts to the show. Okay, the first part's going to be women in extreme vocalists in extreme metal, and the second part is illustrators, female illustrators, women in art. The other side of the creative side of music making, the packaging, which was no surprise, really hard to find, really hard. So. Women in extreme vocal metal, right? It's a very interesting modern phenomena, I think, because we take, if you in your mind, you close your eyes really tight and you screw your eyes up and you think of an image of heavy metal in your mind, men or female, it doesn't really matter, but let's do males first. You think of, I know I go straight to I really do. I go straight to Bruce Dickinson and his stripy, in his Plant's doing his big jumps, and Steve Harris and his stripy lycra Nawabum pant, things with all his lunch on display. I just go straight there. Like, it is that sort of, sort of Spinal Tap moment, isn't it? Like, you say, we've got we've got animals in our pants. That. No, I misquoted that. It's completely misquoted, but you know what I mean. You know the scene I'm talking about, right? And when he's going through, and he's pulling out the cucumber with the silver foil wrapped around it out of his jeans when he's getting scanned to go through the airports. It's very, and I also think of it as very lots of falsetto, because I'm of that era. Like, Nawabum is my favourite, right? Lots of falsetto, a lot of high vocals, a lot of operatics, and of course I also love the extreme metal. So you got a lot of that, the sounds of Satan's belching, like that real growl, that real definitive, monstrous, sludgy, demonic howl that you get with that kind of form of music. But you don't think of women doing it. You don't think of lady, or like you didn't used to, right? It was so male dominated, so male. Even though there were people like Lita Ford and Doro, and there were people, and Girls' School, and there were people out there doing it. But they weren't the majority, right? They were quite the minority. But when you look now, if you, I'll put some show notes in the website I went to. Really amazing. I just typed in extreme with female vocalists, extreme vocal in, sorry, women vocals in extreme metal. That's what I typed in, and the list that I mean, it was just endless. It was amazing. I mean, people do tend to overlook the fact that the way that the female vocal cords are made, like that they can't get that kind of guttural viscosity in their vocals, which is not true, right? In fact, a lot of the time when you do hear those kind of lyrics, that kind of vocal, and it is a woman singing it, it really throws you a curveball, because you go, God, that's really deep. Now, I know a lot of it's done in post, but then they have to also do it live, and it's sort of, I don't know, it's an unusual thing. It's like it's off-putting and offsetting, because deep within your, particularly with me, deep within my old man self, my old man's going, ooh, but women shouldn't sing like that, and this is not a sexist thing. No, don't cancel me. I don't mean that. What I mean is, when I say shouldn't, I don't think they could, because of their vocal abilities, but they've really come a long way. And everyone thinks it started with sort of Angela Gosson with Arch Enemy from 2000, and she sang with them to 2014. Well, she didn't start it. She just made it very, very popular. And bands like Lacuna Coil and so on, like that sort of that are taking up the mantle as well. There's oh God, that was me hitting the mic. That was a new sound, wasn't it? I hope I didn't people drop their tea. Sorry. I'm just going to put my cable like that. There's some, and it goes to the diversity. It goes so diverse, right? You have the sort of, I don't know, warrior kind of women in things like Arch Enemy and Ginger and as I said, Lacuna Coil, and then you get the sort of, like, I don't know, the really interestingly sort of dark and angry and aggressive kind of image in, like, the lead singer of one of my favourite bands at the moment, which is Crypta, which Fernanda Lira. She plays bass and vocals, and she just, it is, I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of her. Let's be honest. Like, you look at the girls at Girls' School, and and I've seen them live, and I'm sure they're really, they'd probably tell you F off, and they could hold their own, but they're sort of more your down the pub kind of girls, whereas someone like Fernanda Lira or Angela Gosson or any of the handful of these, and they're not usually over American or Nordic, I found in my researches. When I say Nordic, I mean sort of like Eastern European. Just really, you'd be a bit scared, you know, where you were or who you were with. And you'd like, don't leave me alone. I'm a bit scared, long gone are the days where it's a masculine-driven medium, isn't it? And I think that's an amazing win. That's such a brilliant thing, because now we open up, don't we? We open up the emotional. God, it sounds wanky, but we open up the emotional portfolio, don't we? Is that the right word? Yeah. We open up the emotional portfolio. I'm going to go with it anyway. Emotional portfolio. I've said it now, so you can't stop me. Emotional portfolio 3 times. What it means, what I'm saying by that is when you've got wholly a gender-driven medium, you are set within the boundaries of the emotions that can be held within the sort of static beliefs of that person's sex, if you know what I mean. Like, this is getting really deep here, but you know what I mean. I know that the world is full of fluidity now and gender fluidity, and vive la différence is what I say, right? Fantastic, whatever. I'm really up for it, right? No problem. But you still have in your synapses in that half a kilo of grey jelly in your head. You still have these sort of derelict thoughts and emotions that are set back in your mind. So when you create art, so if anyone that there, and a lot of people out there, I'm sure listening, are artistic, like me when I paint, or when I'm playing music, or when I'm doing this, or whatever I'm doing creative wise, you do try and expand the mind a bit, right? I don't mean taking shitloads of drugs, because you can do that, but I don't mean that, because that, my feelings on that, it ends up actually crushing your creativity, not aiding your creativity. But you open up your mind, you try and use other parts of your memory, your race memory in your brain, and your emotions and your gender identity, to in your lyrics, in your vocal tones, in the way that you attack the mic, in the way that you can think about where the music is moving. And so if you only wholly do that with one type, you end up with, you go into a cul-de-sac and you're not going to get out. Where's it go? Right? You can only go, you'll end up, sorry fans of these bands, but you can end up like Tool, right? You can end up like, I don't know, like Status Quo, and I love Status Quo, but you know what I mean? You end up just doing the same thing over and over and over. And yes, you know it well. Yes, it makes you money. Yes, the fans love it. But deep in your creativity, in the soul of the medium will die, won't it? So this is because it's got nowhere to go. What's fantastic about now, women, not women, but people who identify women in general, just females in general, let's just leave it at that without getting myself in trouble. They just bring a different dynamic, don't they? There are emotions that they can feel that we can't, and vice versa. There are memories and thoughts and life experiences that we won't experience, they will, and vice versa. So I know that this is we're talking about a musical medium, extreme metal, right? It's the phone going. Someone's calling me. It's getting my bloody nerves. Sorry about that. I'm not going to answer it. It's one of those interstate numbers, the answer it, and then they try and sell your printer ink or something like that. One of those ones. Excuse me, one little ring out. See, it doesn't take many calls. I don't know what the hell they've got my number from. Anyway, See, it sidetracked me. But yeah, so emotions, right? So stuff that we can't feel, they can, and vice versa. And so they bring. I know it's an extreme medium, and a lot of the extreme medium is more about emotional growth. Is it? We know that. We know it's about darkness and violence and aggression and not necessarily Satanism as such, but paganism. And I really hate that word. Really hate it. The spiritualism that's not of a organised religion, right? That kind of thing. But it doesn't matter. They're still human, and they still have, when you write a lyric, and everybody knows that they try to write lyrics, and I have, it's really bloody hard, and I think myself a man of words, and I really struggle because I end up either doing the schoolboy rhyming every other line, or I try and be too wordy, or I just end up I end up going nowhere most of the time, and so I leave the lyrics to other people, right? But so I was saying, so emotional differences, life experience differences, and then we move from that to, and I'm going to be brutally frank here, without sounding. But it also, it's a sexual. They use their sexuality in a way that men do it as well. So if a man is swaggering around in tight blue jeans, his shirt off, long hair wet, screaming down the mic, like, i.e. Black Flag, something like that, or some of the early Maiden stuff with Bruce with his shirt off and the hair's all wet and screaming it with a spiked glove, and the armband. Now, you might say, well, that's for the ladies, which is extremely wrong, because then what happens? It's not wrong. It's not right. I shouldn't say. But so when the extreme metal women are in there with all their tight leather gear and the sort of like Cenobite kind of image, those that don't know what Cenobites are, they're the demons from Clive Barker's book, famous series of books. Well, it originally came out, I think, in the stories were originally in the Books of Blood, but they're Hellraiser. All right, and only the first one, by the way. All the rest of the crap movies are relative off the 1 and 2. I actually had the good experience of meeting Clive years ago on a film set when I was working on there, and he is a really nice guy. Anyway, that aside. So, that sort of, so there's sexualization. So, there's a couple of types of those extreme female singers. There's the ones that do really know the tight bodices and and please, again, trigger warning here. I'm not trying to be a perv, but what my good old dad used to call the bingo dress, right? Eyes down, look in. All on display. And then all the big heavy black boots and the dominatrix thing, really. Because let's be honest, all men, all of us, every single one on this planet has some form of some form of thrill out of that kind of thing. Okay, all of us. If we are heterosexual, I might add, of course. If you're not heterosexual, you won't do, maybe, but you might in the male version. Anyway, I've got to bang on one and beep 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 beep. I back myself out of that particular conversation. But okay, so what I'm saying is they are now also, so that not only do they have do we have now a wonderful, more varied portfolio, we also have something to look at. We have something interesting, something different, something, and I'll tell you something. When I really live, and this is the truth, live female-fronted bands really, really know how to make a good show. I've never come away from a female. I went and saw the Led Zeppelins, which is the world premiere female American Led Zeppelin cover band. They are outrageously amazing. They are just superb. I've seen them a couple of times now, and they just know how to rock it. Same with Girls' School, and they just do. You watch any live videos of Crypta or of Arch Enemy, as I said, Lacuna Coil. I mean, it's so many, Ginger. I mean, I'm naming the main famous ones. There's lots and lots of other ones I've absolutely missed. But just brilliant, because again, they have a little bit more to prove. So you end up getting, I don't know, a little bit more power and emotion in the show. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I'm so pleased that we do have these wonderful voices in the extreme metal subgenre, and in fact in all metal and rock and roll really, but just where you wouldn't expect it is where I love it the most, because you don't. I mean, it's been a rather gradual integration, isn't it, in the metal world? But for some, it's more. I mean, for me, it feels like it was just like yesterday that this happened, because it's not. It's a gradual growth in the industry. But I urge you all to go and listen. Like I mentioned before, if you're not sure about extreme metal and I don't know, go back to the shows. Somewhere halfway through the series, through my catalogue, I did one on extreme metal, and I try to explain this. Some people, when I've got friends of mine that go, "Oh, I can't hear the lyric, I can't understand it. It's just all noise." Treat that noise like another instrument. If you don't know what they're saying, just treat it like another instrument, like it's another heavy guitar riff, like it's another instrument, and listen to the way they control the back of their throats. I know people that do it as singers, and it is really punishingly hard. So when people say, "Oh, he's just making noise," no, he's not, or no, she's not. It's actually very, very hard to do, and to do well, because there are poorly done ones, and I won't point fingers, but there are some absolute shockers. But there are others that are just, they can balance the nuances of the melody with the aggression and visceral madness of an extreme vocal line, right? So it's not for everyone, and I don't expect it to be for everyone. But if you do listen to that stuff, you go there and have a listen. And there are, as I said, I'll put a list of bands up. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do, as I do every week now, I do a Spotify playlist that runs with the show for each week, and it's linked on my Facebook page. So come to the Facebook page and you can be able to find that link and go and listen to the music that's linked to it. So what I'll do is I'll put up 10 extreme vocalists, and we will go from there. And you can see if you can hear the nuances and the differences, because it's not all growling, by the way. It's not all sound of hell opening. There are stones grating on rock sort of thing. There is some melody and beauty to it as well. Anyway, that's my rant on how fantastic it is to have women in extreme metal. And now part 2 will come very shortly. Now part 2 is going to be about artwork. It's about the final product, and really the lack of women artists creating art for cover work for albums. Anyway, we'll talk on the other side, guys. Enjoy the adverts. I'm going to go get myself a fresh cup of tea, and we'll chat soon. Bye for now.
Hi, I'm Danny Pellegrino from the Everything Iconic podcast. And who doesn't love a classic burger from McDonald's? That's right. McDonald's classic burgers are hotter, juicier, and tastier than ever. The patties are cooked to juicy perfection. I love the cheese perfectly melted on top. I love the Big Mac that has a special sauce in every bite. I love the pillowy, soft, golden bun. So in the words of the Hamburglar, which I believe means grab McDonald's best burgers ever before Hamburglar does at a McDonald's near you.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. You know, it's hard to believe that inflation is still a thing, but boy, it sure is. And that's exactly why Mint Mobile still gives you premium wireless for just $15 a month. Well, it's also because we have that offer printed on, like, a million t-shirts, but it's mostly the inflation thing. So give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months required. New subscribers only. Renew for 12 months to lock in savings. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New subscribers only. Renew for 12 months to lock in savings. Taxes and fees extra. Additional restrictions apply. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
1, 2, 3, 4. Those are numbers. But you already knew that. If you want to know what number you're going to pay each month for your car, use Kelley Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader. They're really good at numbers. Auto Trader.
Welcome back, to part 2 of in this month of April of Women in Rock. As you said, that's the first part was again just a little cap about how I feel about the vocal talents of the wonderful women in extreme metal. There's so many of them. The second part was a real struggle, actually, guys. And this is where I need your help, because I did so much research and I could not find a single mention. I found lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of male artists who are creating cover art, astounding, phenomenal history-making cover art for metal bands and rock bands from the 60s right through to now. Derek Riggs of this world and so on. I really couldn't find any women. Now, I don't know whether that's because I wasn't looking in the right spot or I wasn't Google searching correct. I really don't know. I just don't know. Surely there must be out there some really talented women painting and drawing and taking photographs and creating art, even in an underground scene. I mean, I'd imagine some of these underground bands, really low level sort of rumbling bands that you get, like where there's only 5 downloads on Spotify or something, like one of those crazy bands that just are doing their best and biting in. I'm sure that they're doing that. Because the reason I ask is my oldest daughter is a graphic designer. I always meant to do graphic design when I was at, my father wanted me to do graphic design because he said there was no money in art. And he was right, there isn't any money in art unless you're famous and dead. And it's no good when you're dead anyway, is it, really? So, I get where you're coming from. I know where he was coming from on that. Well, she wanted to do graphic design anyway. That was sort of her skill, And she does amazing things. She did the graphic. She made the artwork for the shows that she's done the graphics. She does the graphics for me. It's I was really quite impressed by that. So there must be out there. There must be people out there. I just don't know where to look. Surely, is it because? I don't know. Is that part of the industry misogynistic? Is it a male-driven area? Am I missing something here? Surely there must be out there someone creating beautiful, if not beautiful, could even be downright disgusting. I mean, it can be graphic and aggressive. Doesn't matter. I'm just saying creative art for rock and roll, blues, metal. I'm sure there is in pop. I would absolutely put money on, but I'm not doing it. This isn't about pop. So, I think there was in punk. Certainly was in punk. But this, again, I'm not talking about punk this time around. I'm talking about, classic metal covers, Mark Wilkinson, Sir Derek Riggs, these people. And I went, when I was at art college, the mixture of males to females in the course was actually, it was more women in the course, more girls than boys, men, women, maybe, whatever age, whatever. When I was there were girls and boys, right? When I was 18, I was a boy, right? I might have thought I was a man, but I wasn't really, it was a boy. And so it was more women than men, let's just say that, in the creative fields. And I just want to know, so please do, if you're listening to this, and I'm sure some of you do listen, because I had some really nice feedback recently, and that's really actually makes my day, really, really does, because this is actually one of the most worthwhile things I've ever done in my life, this show, apart from raising my children, and my lovely wife. This is one of the most worthwhile things I've ever done, and when I do it, I feel full of pride and so want to just talk to people about my passions and chat, even if it's sometimes, a little bit wayward and I lose my way and I sometimes lose the plot. That's the beauty of conversation, isn't it, really? I could sit down and write it all out, word for word, verbatim script, but how boring, I just don't know. To me, I'm not an actor, so I couldn't emote, I couldn't train to do that, so I just chat, and if it comes into my head, I have bullet points here. Hang on, that wasn't very good. I've got a band on it. ASMR for people. Oh yeah, slowly. So there's good money in ASMR, baby. Anyway, I get sidetracked. So what I'm saying is that please do, go to the Facebook page. It's links always in the show notes. If it's not and I forgot, it's quite easy. It's just Facebook Heavy Metal Tones, done. You'll find me. And leave me a message, and if you know anyone or have any ones you can say, Tone, you missed this one's amazing, or she's brilliant, or she does this, or I know her, or whatever, because I'd actually love to interview one for the show, like an artist for the show like that. An underground female metal artist would be amazing, be absolutely brilliant, because this is not just about this. Honestly, this is the thing that shocks me. I was shocked about the lack of female producers last week. This is even more shocking. I mean, I know that for a very long time, this medium, this genre, this overriding genre we love to call heavy metal, that we love so much, was very misogynistic, very male orientated, but very much like for a long time football was a male orientated sport, but spectator sport. When my mum never went to the football. Dad would go to the football. He'd come home half pissed, sit on the chair over, and you knew if Arsenal had won, it was going to be a good afternoon, and if he'd lost, an absolute bloody nightmare. And on a side note to that, he used to bring home all these French magazines. And I don't mean that kind of magazine. I mean, he used to bring home all these Asterix comics, but they're all in French because it's a French comic, right? And I couldn't read the bloody things, I remember. And Tintin, and I would just look at the pictures. And I'd say, Dad, it's all in French. And he'd go, you don't need to read it, look at the pictures. I haven't got a clue, to this day. And sadly, my father is in the throes of severe dementia, so he wouldn't know now if I asked him where he got those comics from. Like I should have done, way back, because it always did tickle my memory, my thought, funny bone. Someone's giving my dad, Ted, have a load of these comics, give them to your sons, they'll be fun. Sort of. But Arsenal fans, what can I do about it? Anyway, this will date it. I'm a West Ham supporter, and we played Arsenal last night and managed to dampen their title hopes by getting a draw out of them, because we've played like shit all season. I mean, real shit. So when you're top of the table, 40 points better off than we are, and we still get a draw out of you, take that, man. And particularly when we were 2-0 down at the time, and then in 10 minutes, and then came back to draw it and could have won it. Anyway, side note, side note. But so what I was coming is that please do reach out, let me know, because I reckon, as I said, there's amazing female comic book artists and serial like just sort of that sort of thing, but I don't know where it relates into actual product that you have in your hand in a CD or a vinyl cover or a cassette, something like that, or poster artwork, or I just don't know. And I'm sure there might be, again, like a lot of art that goes by in the sort of mass production arena. They could be in sort of offices where there's 3 or 4 people working, and it's just you're not getting the accreditation for it. It's just you come out from this particular company and they make the art, and therefore it's under, say, I don't know, Cosmos Art or something, whatever, who knows, right? So I don't know, it's a quandary. Can you ponder in quandary? Yeah, you can. I think you can ponder and you can quander. Can you quander? Wow, that's interesting, is it? If you have a quandary, can you quander? If you ponder, you can have a pondry, can't you? Is it a pondry real word? Now, I've said it so many times now, it doesn't make any sense. Pondry, quandary. Sounds like a puppet show from the 80s, doesn't it? And now, pondry and quandary, like a Sesame Street, teaching you how to count to 10 in French or something, or Spanish. Signore Pondry and Signorita Condry. Agua. I really hated Sesame Street. Am I the only one? Am I the only one barking in the wind as people my age? I'm 50. And I really disliked it. Oh my God, I hated it. The only thing I liked about Sesame Street, and I genuinely was watching Bert and Ernie try to share something like a piece of licorice, where he'd bite a bit, and a bit shorter, and a little bit, and then you end up eating the whole thing. And the reason I like that is because that's exactly what happened to me with my fat brother eating all of my food. He'd do the same thing to me. Hilarious, isn't it? Oh, maybe also I quite liked Cookie Monster. But everything else a bit creepy. I found the count very, very odd. Very, very triggering, the count. I don't like the count at all. And that, there was a thing, I don't know if you remember it. I'm off topic here, sorry, but just off topic while it's in my brain. And it actually gave me nightmares. Do you remember the sand pictures on Sesame Street? Where, almost, it wasn't the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It wasn't that. It was they would just walk across the screen. They obviously made of sand, and they were animated on a bit of flat on a flat rotoscope thing, whatever. And they would just walk across the screen made out of sand. Oh, man, it used to give me nightmares. Hated it. I did like the aliens, the bring, moo, moo, all that stuff. Now that's funny. That's funny, because you could sort of do anything, couldn't you? You could overdub it, you go buzz, buzz, sex aid, buzz, buzz, dildo. You could do all sorts of funny things. You could do it. It hasn't that help with that. Just anyway. That aside. So where am I? Going back. Rewind, Tony. Rewind. Oops. Yes. So, women and art out there, people, please get me onto it, baby. Give me some ideas. Give me if something I've missed. I just couldn't find it, and I found it quite sad and quite distressing, to be honest with you, because some of the greatest artists I've ever come across, or I've ever worked with, or even painted with when I was at art college, were female, and they're just beautiful, beautiful art. And I'm sure there's someone out there, like the same with you. If you link it to the extreme vocal thing in the first part of the show, there's also, again, when it comes to art, we're taking through our hands to the canvas or to the computer or to the clay or whatever. We are bringing emotional. So I was speaking above my mic. If it sounds a bit, I knocked the mic. If it suddenly went a bit, it sounds like he's in another room. I apologise. Anyway, we bring this emotional baggage, don't we? We bring these, and I'm going to say it, and I meant to say it in the first part, but I don't know whether people take it the wrong way. But we hormonally, chemically, we are going to bring a different feel, taste, and texture, emotion, psychology, psychosis, to the art, and that will be either whether it's with the guitar in our hands, whether it's a set of sticks in our hands, whether it's in front of a mic, whether it's with a pen and paper and creating the art, writing the lyric. We're going to bring that to it, so it'd be really quite interesting. For a little while, I thought that. One second. I thought Maria Brink from In This Moment, actually, and there's a brilliant band. Oh, what a fantastic band. That, I saw them at Soundwave 2012, and the circle pit got really nasty. In fact, I had to save a young girl from being concussed. And Maria came out into the audience, and I was standing next to her, and she's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, she's absolutely stunning thing, but what a voice, what a set of lungs. She can really sing. And actually, that's one of my favourite female-fronted bands In This Moment. I'll put it in the top 10 for this week for you to listen to. It is absolute. She's brilliant. Anyway, I thought she did her own artwork, but I just did some looking then, and she doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if she had a lot of input with it. She's very, very creative. Brilliant voice. Oh my god, Adrenalize is I'll put Adrenalize on for you in the top 10 list, and have a listen. She's one of those ones that can go from clean to growl really quickly, really easily, and there's no it's almost seamless. It's brilliant. In fact, you won't be able to take your eyes off her. Her performance is just crazy. And the guitarists, the band that play with her are just so phenomenal as well. I keep forgetting about her. It's interesting. I went for a big phase of listening to In This Moment after seeing them. I said I didn't know who they were. I just come across them by accident at Soundwave. They were in this offshoot tent thing, side show thing, and I was I'll pop in there and have a look. And wow, mesmerising, because next to them, who was playing? Was it Exhumed? Oh man, I remember because he came out on the audience and he walked out onto them holding him up by his feet. Whoever was there and can remind me, I can't remember who it was, but it was a German band, I think, and they were brilliant. Anyway, then it came on In This Moment, and it blew them away. Absolutely blew them away. So where I'm going from is, yes, so you bring in, and she has this amazing voice, because she has a young child, or probably not young child now, but a child, and she brings in that motherhood sense of fear and worry and protection and love and aggression you have as a parent. She brings that into the music in a very, very beautiful way. It's quite twisted, some of it, but then again, I think some of the most twisted things you come out from the minds of women, let's be honest. So what I'm saying is, where I would be surprised if there was not great art somewhere that we're missing, that we aren't seeing, because part of the love and the fun of like I said before about getting my records out, and if you go to the page and you see that I'm putting up the artwork from the albums, is that I genuinely love. I mean, I won't go over this whole subject again. I might do it again, but another come back to it. But I love vinyl because I like holding the product in my hand. Firstly, I like the fact that the sound is imprinted into the material by the singer's voice almost. So it's like having a piece of the person you love in your hand, which is amazing. And then you have great art. I mean, it's crap art, but if you like it, it's great art, right? And you get to look at it, you can get lost in it. I mean, I've done a whole episode on the art of Iron Maiden. Now you can just get lost in all the in jokes and the Somewhere in Time. Just looking at all the bits and pieces. And that's not, and they're not the only ones that do it, right? So I mean, look at early on proto to that, the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper. The mother of all of them, really, that of all that crazy artwork, looking for different people, and every time you look at the album cover you see someone else and recognise someone else. I didn't know he was there, I didn't know she was there. So we do create this. I'm sure they're creating some amazing stuff. So anyway, I'll wrap up in a minute, but all I'd like to know is if anyone out there can put their hands up, please shout out to me and say, this person's brilliant, look for this person's art. And you know what, even if it's not cover art for bands, if it's metal or rock related art, I'd love to see it, because it does bring joy. I hate the word spark joy. It does bring joy to my life. Great art, and I think as it would most people, so yeah, and we'd like to recognize them. So if you know someone who's underground, who's just doing a little bit here and there, let me know. I'll put them on my page, I'll spruik them, we'll chat about them, we'll maybe get them on for an interview, we'll do a little bit of a bio. I'm up for it, man. Like, it's fantastic. Also, a couple of people reached out with ideas for show topics, which I'm going to do in May and going forward. So if you've got any ideas for show topics you like, anything you want, it doesn't matter. As long as I can get my head around it, I'm up for it, okay? Bands, genres, subgenres, eras, years, producers, direct, musicians, whatever you like. Put your hand up. All you got to do is ask. I'm always looking for ideas for content. I've got a million ideas for content, but it's always nice to have some. If a listener wants to hear about that, I want to do it for them, okay? And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And, give me a review here and there, baby. I wouldn't mind a review here and there. It just helps the show get a little bit more traction in the old cyber world. That's it for me, and I'm going to now go away and do some more research, see if I can find some more female artists, painters, graphic designers, someone in the rock and metal world that's creating fantastic art. I just couldn't find it, and I don't know. It was quite frustrating, genuinely frustrating. I was going to actually drop the segment and go somewhere else, but I thought, no, I'm going to reach out with this because this needs to be addressed. I think again, it could just be old man not researching as well as he could. All right. Anyway, watch out for my top 10 show-related songs for this week's episode. And as I said, if this is after the interview I was planning to do, good. If it's not, next week there'll be a nice interview with blah blah blah. See this space. As I said, out of order because the person I was interviewing has a life like all of us, and is busy, and we had to lock it out and change the dates. Anyway, if not, that means that bit is meaningless, and you've already heard the interview, and you've had a great time listening to it, and I know you have, guys, because you're going to go back and listen to it again, I'm sure. Anyway, bye for now. Keep safe. Keep rocking. And yeah, reach out to me. Come and private message me or message me on Facebook. I would love to know about your favourite extreme female vocalist. That'd be great. And also any artwork and artists that you want to say, Tony, you forgot this, you dumb old man. I'm like, okay, brilliant, thank you very much. Anyway, ciao for now. See you on the flip side. Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Danny Pellegrino from the Everything Iconic podcast. And who doesn't love a classic burger from McDonald's? That's right. McDonald's classic burgers are hotter, juicier, and tastier than ever. The patties are cooked to juicy perfection. I love the cheese perfectly melted on top. I love the Big Mac that has a special sauce in every bite. I love the pillowy, soft, golden bun. So in the words of the Hamburglar, which I believe means grab McDonald's best burgers ever before Hamburglar does at a McDonald's near you.